Welcome to the Time Management Podcast with me, your host, Abigail Barnes. I'm a productivity coach, global speaker, time management author, and award-winning entrepreneur on a mission to share the 888 formula with the world and to remind you that it's your time. Leave it to me to bring you new time management tips, tricks, tools, and strategies, to introduce you to guests, research, and case studies from around the world, and to give you a simple 5-step process you can follow to uplevel your productivity, achieve your goals, and create a life that exceeds your wildest dreams. I'm so excited that you're here, so let's get started. Welcome to the show. It's you and me today for a conversation about energy management. I'm so excited that I'm going to be able to share more with you about what I do on a daily basis to maintain and recharge my energy and give you a simple process that you can use in your own life too. This episode is for you if you're constantly running on low or very little energy. The episode is for you if you're using coffee and energy drinks to get through the day. And this episode is for you too if you're ready to learn a quick, simple, and easy way to get your energy levels back on track. Let's dive in and start with energy and where does it come from? We get our energy from many different sources, from the food we eat, the things we drink. We get it from the sleep or the rest that we have. We get it from the sun. We get it from the activities that we do. We get it from the people we spend time with. We get our energy from so many different places. And on the flip side, our energy is then drained by certain things. It's drained by certain foods. It's drained by certain activities. It's drained by certain people we spend time with, thoughts we keep thinking. Our brain is like a battery with 100% every single day. And the things that we do throughout this day use this battery, and the energy goes down and down and down and down and down. And then when we sleep, our energy is regenerated and rejuvenated. Sleep is one of the most underrated and yet beneficial activities that we can all do on a daily basis, and it's free. Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker is an incredible book that is going to take this conversation to the next level. But for the sake of time today, it was his book that informed the section on sleep that is in my book. He really breaks sleep down. Sleep is where our brain is doing a certain number of activities. I've listed 8 in my book. One of them is consolidation. What I mean by this is while we sleep, our brain is flicking through all of the things that have gone into it today, and they are storing it. They are taking all of these activities, all of this information, all of these experiences, they are taking it from our short-term memory and they are storing it or filing it away in our longer-term memory. And what this does is it keeps our mind fresh then for the next day, where we can then take on more information. It will store it for us, and we can use that store of memory for the activities that we need those memories for. So this whole process happens while we sleep. Sleep is also a restorative process. Professor Nathaniel Kleitman was one of the first people to study sleep and discover that we sleep in 90-minute cycles. They call it a circadian rhythm. We go down, down, down into the REM sleep, then we go up, 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 then we go down, 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 up, up, up. If you track your sleep, you might see that your sleep is like a wave pattern. So I personally need 5 sleep cycles. So that's 5 90 minutes. So 90 minutes times 5 divided by 60 is 7.5 hours sleep. That's how much sleep I feel rejuvenated and refreshed on. And that's how much the average person needs. So between 7 and 9, which is 4 to 6 sleep cycles, and you are going to feel refreshed. My recommendation here is to start to analyze how you feel in the morning based on what time you went to bed. Do that simple calculation of 90 times 4, 5, or 6 and working back how much sleep you need. So what time you need to go to bed. In the past, I've referred people to a sleep calculator on our website. If this is something that you would like to use, reach out, let me know, and I can send you the link to that. So while we're sleeping, our body is regenerating the cells. Our body is repairing itself. Our body is helping us for longevity. There was this whole craze of sleep is for the weak, you can sleep when you're dead. The reality is now, the more we know about sleep, those of us who don't actually get enough sleep, it does lead to illness. So sleep is something that is your absolute superpower. Get as much of it as you can, get as much of it as you need. And just at this point, this episode is not about sleep, but I just would like to hammer home something that I used to do was catch up sleep at the weekend. It does not work. You can't catch up sleep. Sleep is accumulative because remember I was saying that consolidation process is happening every night. Your brain cannot process the information in a catch up at the weekend. It needs to be storing it on a daily basis. And if you have ever had that feeling where you wake up in the morning and you're still thinking about yesterday, your brain has not had enough time to file it away. Either that or the thought you're thinking is the action that you need to take on that day because your subconscious mind has brought it to you to remind you this is the thing. While you have slept, it's processed all of the information for you and it's come to you with the answer. Your energy is finite, but it is rechargeable. There are a number of ways you can recharge it, including sleep. Let's talk about the 888 formula as a way of bookending this conversation. The 888 formula is the simplest way to break down our 24-hour day based on science and society. Science, as I said, 7 to 9 hours sleep, society, 8 hours for work. So what is left is our life. The formula is the simplest and fastest way for you, for me, for us to identify where we are, what's out of balance, what is making us not feel the optimum that we could feel, because we're talking about energy management. So it is important that we can assess our own energy levels within ourselves. The formula very quickly, very simply helps us. It gives us, it's a guide to highlight where the balance is. It is not a diktat of this is the best. It is the immovable bookending. We have to sleep. We have to work. How we allocate the time is creating the reality that we are experiencing. Episode 15 of the podcast will help you, if you haven't done your time audit yet, to do that time audit, to find out where all your time is going. Episode 31, Caroline Milne came on and shared with us that she audited her time and found an extra hour and 15 minutes every single day. What would you do with an extra hour and 15 minutes every single day? If you would like to find that kind of time, audit yours. The average amount of time that people find from doing the time audit is around an hour. In episode number 41, is your mindset killing your productivity? We were talking about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset and how that can create self-sabotage within us. Because why don't we do what we know? We all know that sleep is beneficial. We all know that we're wasting our time doing something. But why won't we do a time audit? Why won't we go to bed earlier? Only you know the answer to those questions. The answer to those questions is the hurdle that is stopping you, me, we, us from having the life experience that we want. Change is simple. It's not easy. It's not easy because of the mindset, the work that needs to go into being able to have that life experience. And if it's possible for somebody else, it's possible for you. In episode 6 of the podcast, we were talking about the addiction to being busy and how to let that one go. In that episode, I shared that years ago, I used to have this belief that busy people were important people. And that started when I was a young child, went to the Bank of England with my family and just saw these busy professionals on their lunch break and created the story in my head that they must be important. And that, I truly believe, was where my first experience of busy and the addiction started. So how can you get your time management back on track? In episode 39 of the podcast, we were talking about efficiency versus effectiveness, which is something I call playing the productivity game. In episode 23, we talked about how to juggle your work-life responsibilities without burning out. And in that episode, I shared some great burnout tips. And then in episode 19 of the podcast, we talked about how to tame your to-do list using the traffic light formula. These are 3 great podcast episodes for you if you've not listened to them and you are looking for those practical tips, tools, and strategies for right here, right now. But today we are talking all about energy management. So the first piece of homework for this episode is audit your time. Please, 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 my friend, do yourself a favor. 7 days. The link is in the show notes. How to audit your time. We have an exact step-by-step process. Click that link. It will walk you through it. It will change your life. At the very minimum, you will find an hour a day. You are likely to find more. As I said, Caroline Milne found an hour and 15 minutes. So let's talk about this, protecting the asset and what we call the 8-minute recharge. In this episode, I'm going to share what it is that I do. This has come about from my own personal practice. On the journey since February 2012, when I had my near-death experience in Boston, in America, my stroke on a work business trip, I have investigated every single possible thing that could help me go from the depressed person coming back from another country with a diagnosis to the human that I am today, who is still on the journey, still evolving. We never get to the end. There is no perfect. It is a constant daily commitment to the activities that I'm going to tell you about. We break them down into 3 pillars: movement activities, mindset activities, and mindfulness activities. We've created something called the Recharge Hub, where you can access all of these different activities. You will either be able to access a video to watch the 8-minute activity and do it with me and the expert. You will be able to download a PDF that explains it, or you will be able to listen to an audio. Let's talk about my daily energy management routine. This came about from research and working with a huge number of experts in their fields to bring it down to 3 pillars and 8 different activities for you to choose from, all of which are activities that I personally do on a daily basis as well. They fall under 3 different pillars. One is movement, one is mindset, and one is mindfulness activities. And you can do these activities for 8 minutes or more on a daily basis. Let's start with movement. 3 activities that fall under the movement pillar are an 8-minute walk, 8 yoga moves in 8 minutes, or an 8-minute HIIT circuit. The activities that fall under the mindset pillar are 8 minutes of journaling, 8 minutes of gratitude, 8 minutes of reading. And then under the mindfulness pillar, we have got 2 different meditations in there for you. So there are 8 activities that you can choose from to do for 8 minutes. We've saved them in a place that we call the Recharge Hub. The link to access them is in the show notes and it's absolutely free. This hub is designed to help you to build a muscle because meditation, mindfulness activities, movement activities, they are all the same. The more we do them, the easier they become and the faster we then start to see the results. Nobody goes to the gym for the first time and has the body of an athlete who has been training for years. When it comes to meditation specifically, it is definitely something that we need to work on consistently. But the science and the scientific benefits that they have now proven with numerous different research case studies is absolutely incredible. If it's something that you want to know more about, I'm going to leave a link to one of my favorite go-to sources for the scientific researching of all the things, and that is Professor Huberman from Stanford University. He has a podcast called the Huberman Lab Podcast, and the link is going to be in the show notes for episode 96, where he talks about the science of meditation. Now, this is one of his first introductions to it. There are many more. You will be able to have great fun going down the rabbit hole of educating yourself if this is something that you want to learn more about. But he is a great resource to access science-backed, peer-reviewed information. So the homework for this episode, as well as auditing your time, if you haven't already, the second piece of homework is to try one 8-minute activity this week. As I said, the link is below. You have free access to the Recharge Hub, to all of these activities that were recorded with myself and experts. And then the third piece of homework is to join our productive wellbeing community. The link again is in the show notes, and update us on your progress. Use the community as an accountability area. Tell us what has happened when you have done one or more of these 8-minute activities. And my own personal habits with this now. Every single day, I meditate for 8 minutes. I have tried longer meditations. I have tried shorter meditations. 8 minutes works for me. Some days I might do 2 8-minute meditations, but I always do one, because a muscle is built through consistency. So always showing up for 8 minutes of silence for myself starts my day from the best place. And again, sometimes I will do 2, and then maybe I might do another one later in the day if I need it. The first meditation of the day that I do personally is in silence. It didn't used to be, but it's evolved. So my first 8-minute meditation is in silence. My next 8-minute meditation might be guided, and then a meditation I might do later is usually, again, guided. My one piece of advice to you, if you were looking for any advice from me, is to keep it really, really simple. Meet yourself where you are. The guided meditations that are in the Recharge Hub are created specifically to get you started. The second thing that I do on a daily basis is I read a chapter of a book for 8 minutes or more. I set my timer for the 8 minutes. If I still haven't finished that chapter within the 8 minutes, I set another 8-minute timer. If I still haven't finished the chapter, I keep reading until the end. Because what's happened is the resistance was in the first 8 minutes. The conversation about whether I should continue is still active in the second 8 minutes. But by the third 8 minutes, I'm into the chapter, I'm into the book. I don't need the timer anymore. The timer is useful and beneficial to get us started. And the only way to move forward is to start. The other thing that I do on a daily basis, if you follow me on social media, you will see I document going to yoga every single day. Now, I go to yoga for mental health. I go to yoga for movement. And then I go to yoga for the secondary aesthetic benefits that come through exercising. I used to exercise for the aesthetic, but over time I have come to learn that when I do it from a place of heart's desire, the unintended but beneficial consequence is that I get what I actually also want as well, which is to aesthetically have the body. And then I, like you, like to get my 10,000 steps in per day. And some days it may be 5,000, some days it may be 10,000, some days it may be 15,000. My entire aim is to move my body daily. And again, if you follow me on social media, you will hear that this is one of my catchphrases: move your body. And finally, we can't have an episode without me touching on the human design. Episode 24, our guest on there introduced us to human design. And this week, I want to talk about the energy types. So she invited us to be able to do a free test on her website. And from this, you will find out what energy type you are, whether you are a generator, a manifesting generator, a manifester, a projector, or a reflector. There's 5 different energy types. 37% of the population are a generator. 33% are a manifesting generator, 9% are a manifester, 20% are a projector, and 1% of the population are a reflector. Why this is beneficial is it helps to understand what is going on in a team, in a dynamic, in a family, in a society, in a group. Everybody has a different energy type. Everybody has a different way that their energy works for them. Myself, as a generator, I recharge by sleeping. Other people recharge in different ways. The human design is a whole great big conversation. We're going to bring that expert back on the podcast again in a few episodes' time to give us the next step. But take the test, find out what type you are, and then you will start to understand how, from a human design point of view, you can marry the physical management of your energy with your design as well. To wrap up the homework for today, number 1, audit your time for 7 days. Please just do yourself this favor. Number 2, try one of the 8-minute activities. And then number 3, join the Productive Wellbeing community. Come over, see us, let us know what you're doing, ask your questions, and share it with your friends. And finally, thank you so much for letting me know how much you love the podcast, what episodes are resonating with you, what things you are taking away. It means the world to me to hear these stories. This is a labor of love. This podcast costs time, money, effort, and energy. But when I hear from you, it makes it all worth it. I truly appreciate the time that you take to leave the reviews, to leave the comments on the posts on social media, to rate it. This does help more than you would believe, apart from for me to know what is resonating with you, but it helps get it out to a wider audience. The algorithm, I don't need to go into it, but I'm sure you know enough that the algorithm then likes to recommend things that others are commenting on. So it is so helpful. And until next time, my friend, stay safe, stay well, and remember, it's your time. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to let me know by leaving a review so I can keep the good stuff coming. Come and say hi on Instagram at Success by Design Training, or visit my website successbydesigntraining.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Abigail Barnes. Until next time, don't forget, you are amazing and it's your time.